This is basic color theory in acrylic. Our objectives are describe the qualities of acrylic paint and understand proper techniques for using acrylics, understand basic color theory and demonstrate technical skill in mixing colors and chromatic black. Our first word worth knowing is the painter's color wheel. It is a color wheel that's used by painters. It's the one we've been using since elementary school. It refers to what color we see when light is reflected off of an object. The primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Our second is the printer's color wheel. It's a color wheel used by printers and designers. It's a color wheel that reflects how different wavelengths of light can create visible color. The primary colors are red, green, and blue, and the secondary colors are cyan, magenta, and yellow. So think about how the colors on your TV work, or especially if you've ever had to buy printer ink. You don't buy red, you buy cyan, magenta, and yellow. Our last is split primary color palette. A split primary color palette refers to a palette of colors with both warm and cool variations of the primary colors, being red, blue, and yellow. It's used to create a wider range of colors and adds complexity. So we're going to be working a lot with this. So what is acrylic anyway? It's a fairly recent medium. It became widely used in the 1950s. The characteristics are that it's made of a plastic polymer. It contains a pigment, which is the color, a binder, and a vehicle. It's really versatile. It's used in pretty much everything. Think house paint, the paint on your walls, craft paint. So it's really versatile. It dries really quickly and allows you to make multiple layers, which can also be a downside. It can be thinned with water, or what you can use is called an acrylic medium to keep the same consistency of the paint. And it can be used on multiple surfaces. So a painter's color wheel review. Our primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Our secondary colors are green, violet, and orange. Our tertiary colors are blue-green, blue-violet, red-violet, red-orange, yellow-orange, and yellow-green. A tint is the color plus white. A tone or a neutral is the color plus its complement or gray. And then a shade is a color plus black. So primaries are pure color. You cannot mix the primaries. So our primaries for our painter's color wheel are blue, yellow, and red. Secondaries are two primaries mixed together. Tertiaries are a primary plus a secondary. A neutral are complements mixed together. Now these ratios I have here are approximate. There's a lot of variations on the quality of pigment, so this isn't going to be exact, but it's a good ballpark on how to mix those colors. So you can create all the colors you need by mixing different combinations of the basic primary colors. However, if you've ever tried to mix violet using blue and red and it comes out really muddy brown or grayish purple and it looks nothing like a real violet, the reason is paints are not pure pigments. So if you're looking at paint tubes against a color wheel, there's slight differences and variations just between one color. So we need to understand basic color theory and how to match colors against a color wheel to help you become a better artist and to understand which type of red or which type of blue you need to add to get that violet. So have you ever noticed that printer ink is cyan, magenta, and yellow? Why isn't it red, blue, and yellow? The painter's color wheel, the primary colors red, blue, and yellow, have been used by painters for generations, partially due to the limitations of color reproduction technology and the way pigments mix. So the printer's color wheel, CMYK, which is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, that's usually used for ink and printing, is an additive type color wheel. It's very accurate. So you can create red, which you normally can't with a painter's color wheel, by mixing magenta and yellow, and you can make a blue by mixing cyan and magenta. So there's a whole other area of colors that we can take into our painting to make our colors more accurate. So we're going to use both. The painter's color wheel is really good to use as a tool or a guide for mixing color, but the printer's color wheel helps us create more accurate colors by using cyan and magenta to create the secondary and tertiary colors. So this is where the split primary color palette comes into play. So it's containing a warm and cool version of each primary color plus white. So that magenta is going to be more on the cooler side of a red versus a warm red. So we're taking that printer and painter's color wheel and putting it together. So warm colors contain hints of yellow, orange, or red, while cool colors contain hints of blue, green, or violet. So a cool blue is closer to cyan than a warm blue. So warm and cool. So here are some paint colors that are cool reds, yellows, and blues. So our cool reds are alizarin crimson, magenta, permanent rose, and quinacridone rose. Cool blues are cerulean blue, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, manganese blue, and primary blue. And cool yellows are cadmium yellow light, lemon yellow, and Hansa yellow light. The ones that are highlighted are the ones we're going to use in class. So, and just so you know, there are conflicting opinions on what a warm and a cool blue are. So this is what we're going to use in class. But just know that some people don't agree with that with the blue. Our warm reds are cadmium red deep, cadmium red light, naphthol red, pyrrole scarlet, and scarlet lake. Warm blues are ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, and ultramarine blue. It must have been so good I put it in there twice. Warm yellows are primary yellow, cadmium yellow medium, and cadmium yellow deep. So the highlighted ones are the ones we're going to use in class. And last is chromatic black. Chromatic black is a mixed color that appears black, but it doesn't contain any black pigment. Why? Why would you do this? Why not just squeeze that black paint out of the tube? It's much richer, it's complex, and it has more of an interesting color that has subtlety that just a flat black lacks. And you can push it and pull it more towards a violet or a red or a yellow depending on what you're painting. And to make a good chromatic black, it's usually about 80% blue, 15% red, 5% yellow. And then you can vary the warms and cools in there. So our assignment, this is going to be a big assignment. It's a color mixing sampler. So we're going to be making a color mixing warm-cool chart. So we're going to be mixing the secondary colors, violet, green, and orange, using different combinations of warm and cool primary colors. Then we're going to do some color mixing values. So you're going to make a 5-step yellow and violet value scale. And then you're going to choose 2 complements on your own. They have to be secondary or tertiary, and you're going to do the same. And then last, you're going to create a chromatic black, and then 3 different grays, mixing complements with varying warms and cools in white. So I will be doing a demo in class. I'll have a demo video, and we are going to learn so much about color theory with this. You're going to impress yourself. So good job. Can't wait to see what you do.